Lloyd.
We cannot leave the opportunity of all these videos go by without talking about the years you were in Plaid and your memories of many things, and also your recollections and what you've read and what you've been told. And we start with Saunders Lewis. What's your view on Saunders?
Well, of course, when I joined Plaid Cymru, and that would be when I was about 15 years of age, it was Gwynfor who, for many years, had been the president of Plaid Cymru. But previous to that, Saunders Lewis, of course, had been the leader.
Yeah.
Two very different men, two with very different visions of Wales. Saunders Lewis was a poet, a literateur, an historian, and a person who conceived of Wales more or less in a medieval context. Wales, when Wales was Catholic, when Wales was part of the unity of Christian belief in the Catholic Church. And a man of huge vision, of very great character and of courage, who went to prison, you remember, as one of the three for having destroyed by fire the bombing school in 1936.
Yes.
Gwynfor, on the other hand, a 20th century politician. I suppose his politics, if you really were able to delve into it, were probably that of a right-wing liberal. He had no respect.
He didn't like Labour.
He had no respect for the Labour Party. In fact, it's accurate and subtly true to say that he had contempt for the Labour Party. I would ask him sometimes, can you not point to something that you say that you approve of in the Labour Party? And his answer would be, no, I can't. So he was as negative as that in relation to Labour. But nevertheless, his
So what did he think when you left for Labour?
I think he was shocked. I'm not sure at all that he could understand my position. My position was, I had always been a nationalist and I had always been a socialist. And to my mind...
And you're still both now?
I think so.
Yes. Yeah.
The point was, I didn't leave Plaid Cymru because Plaid Cymru had failed at all. I believe that Plaid Cymru stood for that which was absolutely right, for the winning of substantial constitutional status and recognition as a land and country for Wales, the condition of its continued existence as a nation, to my mind. That could only turn on two things. There had to be the two. One, there had to be a strong Plaid Cymru that was standing for that principle of nationhood in politics. And on the other hand, there had to be a Labour government that was sensitive to the needs of Wales and prepared to put that into execution.
Yeah.
One without the other was totally useless.
Yeah.
And that is why I left Plaid Cymru.
Yeah, but you need to record the story that you told me. When you told Gwynfor you were leaving Labour, what was his famous...
His last words to me were, my dear Elystan. He said it in Welsh, of course, my dear Elystan, do you realise you'll be joining the party of Bessie Braddock? As if that were the ultimate condemnation. And I said to him, she's a stout old woman who fought hard for her people.
Yeah, that was beneath everything.
Oh yes, yes. There was an element of social contempt there, you see.
Yeah, but then he had a difficult time. You know, he was neutral regarding the Second World War. He was a pacifist. He fought against Emrys Roberts.
He had to fight on many fronts, and very often had to watch his back.
Yes.
And there was a claque of people there who were out to do him down all the time. They were, I suppose, Trotskyites. Many of them had been members of the Communist Party.
And they were very active in Plaid.
Oh, they were. They were holding meetings before the executive meetings and so on, and there were so many things that had been organised beforehand.
So he had a tough old time.
I think we beat them on the whole.
Yes.
I was regarded as the dangerous right-winger.
Oh, right.
Who was the counterpoint.
Yeah. You were beyond the pale.
Beyond the pale, yes.
Yeah. But then, to wear it, that was regarded probably as a failure.
Yes, it was. It was the...
And that put more pressure on it?
It was the nadir of our position as a nationalist movement. Yes. Total impotence.
Is it fair to say that winning the by-election saved him within Plaid Cymru?
Well, it's always interesting to meander
I just surmised,
down the ifs.
Yeah, the what-ifs of politics.
And it might well have been that it really was. But he was at a very, very low point when he became the Member of Parliament for Carmarthen.
Yeah.
And indeed, there are two events there which I think are a little short of providential. 10 years previously, when Labour were seeking a candidate,
Yes.
Megan Lloyd George and John Morris were neck and neck.
That's right.
Megan Lloyd George beat John Morris by one vote.
Yeah.
If that one vote had gone to John Morris, he would still have been there. There would have been,
no by-election.
Secondly, 10 years later, Megan was on her deathbed during the election of 1966. She only survived by a few weeks.
2-3 months, less than that.
Had she given up previous to the election, I know that Gwynfor Davies would have won not with the 10,000 majority that she had, but say by 7 or 8. There
Yes,
would
that's
be
right.
no by-election.
Yeah.
So twice Providence came within an ace.
But I think there was a third that I keep on saying it. People don't quite pick it up. I was at the selection meeting to choose the candidate for the by-election.
Yes.
Between Gwilym, Prys and Denzil.
Yes.
Denzil Davies from Carmarthen.
Yes.
A Carmarthen boy. Able barrister. Very able. In the meeting, Denzil was head and shoulders better than Gwilym. But Gwilym had the miners and the railwaymen and all that. You imagine if Denzil had been the candidate.
Well, I've known them both and think very, very highly of both of them. Both of them are men of exceptional talent. Gwynfor Prys I knew in my student days, and he was one of the greatest orators that I'd heard.
Really?
I can remember him in a students' debate. I wasn't in college then, but I'd got my older brother's old scarf there and had gone along.
Right.
And I can remember him...
So you infiltrated?
Yes, I remember him winding up his speech and saying, if you reject this motion tonight, and there was a Hitlerian quiff
hairstyle
falling over his temple, I and my party will regard you as the drainpipes pouring this imperial filth into Wales. And I remember saying to myself, God, I'd give anything to be able to
speak like that.
Be as eloquent as that.
Yeah, yeah.
Denzil, on the other hand, a man too of immense brilliance. By the time the by-election came, Gwilym Prys was a very subdued character.
Yes.
Very different.
Oh, I know.
Had he been the character that he was in his student days, he probably would have won.
Yes.
It may well be that had Denzil been the candidate instead of him in 1966, he too.
Yeah, I have no doubt about it, because I spent we'll finish with this, I spent the whole campaign helping and driving Gwilym Prys around.
Yeah.
And the South Walians, the miners of the coal mining valleys, were saying openly, we don't understand him. We don't understand his language.
Well,
he was very deep North Walian, wasn't he?
I said, yes, I don't know whether they would have understood the language of a Cardi, but...
mind you,
but
you had that experience?
Yes, I remember in Anglesey with Cledwyn Hughes on the Saturday before the election in 1979,
was it?
Yes, it was 79.
Yes, yeah.
And a woman came up and said to Cledwyn, he's very nice, but I can't understand the way he talks. Right. And I quoted Williams's hymn, Pentecellian's hymn. Dyn dieithwr ydw yma.
That's right.
Draw my gynnig, stranger am I in this land, far beyond is my native country.
And Cledwyn wasn't...
And Cledwyn said, pidwch a dweud, don't say things like that, they'll hear you.
Well, dyna ni. Atgofio nôd yddiau. Yeah. Those were the days, my friend. Yeah. Diolch yn fawr.
Croeso mawr.
Iawn.
Good.